Oh yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Capes and Lunatics. It's me, Phil. Lilith is here, and we have another special guest interview, Mr. Richie Acosta. Hello, sir. How are you?
How are you?
We were just talking about the a few weeks ago some of your work on that issue of Daredevil 373 back from 1998, which
Yeah,
was
I was shocked to see it on Twitter, and then I think it was Randall. Randall pinged me
Mhm.
or mentioned me in the comments, right?
I mean, that's what you could tell. I mean, you're a popular artist when people are just like, hey, you have to talk to Richie about this. I was like, sometimes I'm like, I don't know, do people? I mean, like we were just saying, we love to talk to creators, but it's like I'm like, some people don't want to talk about their work from that long ago. But
Yeah,
if you love to talk about it, no, we love to chat about this stuff.
yeah. I'm definitely not shy about it.
That's good. That's good.
I'm not ashamed of it. Let's say I don't
Yeah.
understand people who are like ashamed of working in comics. I mean, it's like the best thing ever.
Well, I saw. I mean, I was reading through the biography you sent me, how it says, you started in '96 at Marvel in the advertising and promotions department.
Oh yeah, yeah. On
Are there,
staff,
yeah, are there a lot of people who like try to like go from like how do I put office jobs to the more creative side? Because I
never works.
never, I
That's
current,
not true. There's the whole trope of working in the mailroom and working your way up. It used to happen, not so much now, but it used to
Yeah,
happen.
it's so there were a couple of art directors, and I'm not knocking it. They actually worked in the mailroom, and then they became art directors in my department for the advertising, and they didn't have a graphic design background. They were just like they learned it on the fly.
hmm,
So that did happen for sure. But like
Now
getting
everybody wants like 10 years experience, even though you're only 21.
oh god, yeah, yeah, you have to have 10 years experience, work for like the biggest companies, and but of course if you don't have you know top 500 experience, you can't get a job. So how do it's crazy. Like comics is the same thing. you know they want you to be so experienced in comics before you even get in, but how do you get that experience? So
that's what I always wonder. Like nowadays, is it like, oh, we want someone who's like done, I don't know, with your Kickstarter or something, or like you've created your own book, and then they're like, oh wow, your thing's taken off, so now we can hire you because you have some of this experience.
mhm.
But that's hard. I mean, just getting the attention for your own stuff, and
Yeah, I don't even know how it works anymore. I mean, I was breaking in the 90s. I'm sorry, like it must be like humidity here. I don't even need these glasses, but it helps me see you guys better. um, like in the 90s, like I just cold called editors all the time, like all the time. And if I could reach them, that'd be great. Some would want to meet. I mailed in submission packets all the time. Now you couldn't do that. It's impossible. You can't call them. They I don't even think they'll take submission packets anymore.
hmm.
You know, and I tried recently reaching out to Marvel editors, literally no reply. And I actually worked at Marvel. So I really feel for these new creators trying to break in.
Was the pool so much bigger now? Because like back in the '90s, it's like you had you have to work in the office. Now it's pretty much you can work from anywhere in the world just because of
Oh yeah,
technology and
for sure. Yeah, like
Well, it's also
and
more corporate too. Like, I
yeah.
mean, you were at that time where they kind of making that transition from kind of being like the handshake and walking across the street and making deals kind of people to like when the corporate people really got involved, like the non-creatives kind
mm,
of got pushed out too. So that's definitely an interesting time to have come up in comics for sure.
yeah, the pool was smaller, but now like you could hire people all over the world because it's people work digital now. I don't even think like I mean, I still work traditionally. I pencil on board. I prefer to have an inker that actually inks. But I was a small local show, and then all of the artists, like the younger artists, were like they made me feel ashamed that I wasn't digital. They're like, "Oh, that's so old." I'm like, "Okay, well, I am old."
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Do like Marvel? Do they like the companies prefer you use the new digital techniques, or can you still do like the older techniques? Like actually physical, and then you have to scan it in, or?
Well, I mean, I don't really know what they prefer, but the fact is, if you don't actually produce physical artwork, it's not worth anything.
True.
I mean, there's no original artwork to sell, and original artwork can be really valuable. Like a cover, I think any Marvel cover is, I think you can't find one less than 2,000, even if it's not a popular cover like mine is not like notable, but still worth 2,000 because it's physical. Now you do that same cover today, digital,
yeah,
it has no value. Or at least the digital media has no value. It's not like you could go sell your PDF.
You can turn
But
it into an NFT.
What?
You can turn it into an NFT and cross your
I don't
fingers.
even understand that. I really.
I was to say that's still a thing. Yeah, I don't know.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
It didn't last very long.
Oh, really? Non-fungible, whatever.
I mean, was that the whole NFT thing where it's just like you get to buy the rights to that PDF or whatever? Or?
I don't know. I guess like maybe it's kind of like an artwork copyright, right? In a way.
It was a metaverse scam. Don't worry
That
about
was
it.
There you go. I figured as much.
I love old school traditional though.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Like if you like are on Twitch and you watch like artists work, and it's just like so amazing to watch their like vision come to life. Like I'm just I just love that specific creative process.
Oh yeah. It's terrifying, but it's especially like I don't, because I inked. I just one issue, and it was, I don't know, it made me respect that craft, because I don't know, I don't have the steadiest hand. You have to have like the hand of a surgeon to ink, especially like something very complicated, because you're using a brush, and they have special techniques. Like I did a show in Jersey with Bud LaRosa. He was my anchor on 373, and then I was looking at his prints, and I was trying to figure out like the process, like how he inked. And he said, well, that I learned that from one of the greats. He's like, and you want me just to share with you for nothing? And I was like, he was just kidding. But that craft is dying. It's like, that knowledge, that ability, it's dying, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that's what I talk about a lot with a lot of creators and stuff. Like the importance of like going to cons and like building community is more important than ever now. I think a lot of like, just specifically for like the new people trying to break in, like I feel like there was a lot more like camaraderie, and like you could learn things a little more easily, is a little more accessible if you were just willing to put in a little effort with people. And I just feel like they, the young people just don't kind of have that fellowship and community anymore, unfortunately.
It is true. I mean, they grow up in an age where you never see your friend. You have friends you never meet because you're gaming online, and but you never physically meet them. So you're perfectly fine, just like having a virtual relationship. But like back in the day, you could walk up to any creator at a con when there were no lines, and you can get their feedback. They would give you advice. Now the lines are so long, they don't have like 2 seconds to spare with you, I imagine.
Yeah.
Like I met Gene Colan, Neil Adams, Mike Mignola at cons, and we had lengthy conversations because there were no lines. They signed my books for free. It didn't cost a thing. So yeah, it's a shame. It's definitely a shame.
Yeah, that's the thing. Back in the day, I mean, it's this thing. Things have taken off. I don't know because of the movies or what, but yeah, back in the day, I remember. Yeah, things like there were no lines. Now it's everyone's like, oh yeah, I love superheroes.
And it was just comics. I mean,
yes.
How is it a Comic-Con anymore?
They now have transitioned into pop culture con, and it's so unfortunate. I grew up in San Diego, like literally like the heyday of like the small San Diego con, where it was just like the Star Trek people, which is fine because I'm a total Trekkie. So like I remember, like I literally have like San Diego con has grown up with me, and I've seen like the late stage capitalism of it all just kind of take over, and like the artist alley gets smaller and smaller,
Mm.
and it's just all about movies and stuff, and it's just like, oh, such a bummer. Like,
Yeah.
like literally what a time to be alive, and you kind of had to be there vibes, but I'm glad I got to experience it. And I mean, things have to change and evolve, but sometimes it's not always for the better. That's why I kind of like the smaller cons now.
Yeah, the smaller cons are kind of what it used to be. Like I did Garden State Comic Con in Jersey, of course, in Morristown, and that was nice. Less traffic, of course, but and there's Terrificon. You know,
Yeah.
Terrificon. I haven't been to Terrificon, but that looks like what New York Comic Con used to be, and it's a big enough con for sure. So I'd like to go there.
Well, we just
Just
went,
as a fan, really.
yeah, we just went to one this summer, Hershey Con outside, like in Hershey, Pennsylvania, because I live near
Oh,
Pittsburgh. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was I mean, that was nice, right, Lilith? I mean, it was
It was like bigger like than I was expecting. Like it had Jim Shooter. It had like a lot of people that had like Mark Waid. And I'm just like, wow, yeah. It's like a lot of like really big creators that you wouldn't think would be at, like, you know, Hershey kind of like Hershey's a little small, cute, sweet, quaint town. You know,
Yeah.
the
I've
candy
been to
factory,
Hershey
right?
Park with my kids. Yeah.
Exactly. Don't bring that up with Phil's wife. She couldn't get out.
her and my son got lost when we were there. No, yeah, but it was in a hotel with a couple.
Yeah, it was at a Holiday Inn. We were both like, a Holiday
Oh,
Inn Express. No, it was like the old school Holiday Inn. It had like 4
okay.
ballrooms, and
Huh.
we actually did get time to talk to people. Like the lines weren't extremely long.
Yeah,
And
that
it was just,
sounds
they
like
had a
how
good
Big
mix.
Apple Con used to be. There used to be a
Yeah.
Big Apple Con on on 7th Avenue. I imagine that's what it used to be. It wasn't like, yeah.
But yeah,
Not
very
huge,
very
like me.
comics focused and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had
And
like the Inkwell Awards too. I always find like the local con, like their award shows, what they're gonna do, very interesting. Yeah, I thought that was really cool because like inkers don't get a lot of notice a lot of the time, pencilers too and stuff like that. So for them to take the time and like actually dedicate an awards show for that specific niche was really cool.
Yeah, no, inking good inking can make you look like a hero. Bad inking.
Yes, we say that all the time. Like the depth makes it pop, the shading, everything. It's just like
one of my first pinups. Okay, so my very first pinup was at Valiant, and I lucked out. Kevin Nolan inked it. I could not believe it, and it was beautiful. It's Kevin Nolan, right? My second, I won't say where. My second pinup did not turn out as well because it was just the inker didn't put a lot of love into it.
Yeah, so, I've said before, I've seen it. Like you can have an incredible penciler and an incredible inker, but they don't mesh well.
Sure, yeah, they don't match. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's really like Kevin Nolan. I think if you have a kind of more photorealistic style, you're gonna look great. But if it's, I don't know, or maybe he could just think about everyone. I'm not sure. But if you have like a manga style, maybe not. But I don't know.
So how did you make the jump basically from the promotions and stuff at Marvel to actual comic work? Like were you like put out feelers, be like, hey, I like the work, you know, make kind of like show people samples and stuff, and then like when something came up, they were just like, oh, hey, you know, we need a fill in here or something. Would you be willing to take this?
I thought working there would help me, and it did not. I mean, I got to meet a lot of cool people. Like I hung out in the copy room a lot because I had to anyway. I've met a lot of people that were not editors. So I made a lot of good friends, and I wasn't a schmoozer, so I didn't really care. So working there, I never made any connections that led to academic work. Now, I didn't even think that would happen. I was just like happy to be there and hang out. I got a stack of free comics every week.
Oh wow!
There was like trade paperbacks just like everywhere, and you could just grab a stack and like trade it for like credit at Jim Hanley's or whatever. It was I was just having too much fun to network. Really.
Well, and again, that time in the '90s too, it wasn't a good time for Marvel either. Just
it was terrible.
Everything,
yeah. Like I was part of I think was it Topps bought Marvel, I'm not sure when, and they intended to sell it off, and they couldn't, so they didn't have the money to keep it going, so they laid off like 40% of the staff. I was part of that culling, and it was brutal.
Yeah, I figure because I thought around that time, like they had like basically like cut the line of books in half or something. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
people were let go at that point.
Yeah, I hope people who work there didn't sell their stocks, because that would have been a bad idea. I hope they held on to it. But so I worked in the office in '96, but I'd done like some little work here and there, just like pinups for like Valiant. I knew Jesse Berdinka. I met like Sean Chen and Bernard Chang.
Oh, we love Bernard.
Oh yeah, he's super cool. And I think he's. I just looked. I haven't really looked into like what my friends back in the day are doing, but him and Sean are still working, doing great. I worked. I met Rich Buckler in '93, and I worked for his studio called Visage Studios. It's kind of like how like Neil Adams had continuity studios.
Yeah.
And they would ape his style. So yeah, we weren't asked to ape Rich Buckler's style, but we would help him out. So that was fun. That was really my first like foray into comics. Like I went to the New York Comic Con in '93, and then I met him, and then he invited me to join. But even that didn't like turn into like a separate project for myself. So I tried everything, and I didn't. It wasn't until like 1998 until I got my book, and it wasn't really networking. In '96, I met one of my friends he was a manager at Jim Hanley's, Brian David Marshall. He left Jim Hanley's. He started his own business. It was like it's called Neutral Ground. So it's like he was and still is big into Magic the Gathering. I connected with him on Twitter, and he's like big deal like in that community. So he started his business, and his in his grand opening, and he knew I was like a huge fan of Joe Quesada. So he said, "Why don't you come to the grand opening? Joe's going to be there, and Jimmy Palmiotti." So he introduced me to Joe and Jimmy, and had a chance to get to know Joe a little bit, do some work for event. And unfortunately, that didn't pan out. So it took like 2 years until I heard from Marvel. I basically submitted to everybody. I mailed submission packets everywhere. And then Jay Gardner over at Marvel kept mine for years, and he called me in '98. He said, he asked me if I was open to work, and he had a spot on Daredevil. So I went in, and it worked out.
Is that pretty cool working on a mainstream superhero book like Daredevil?
Yeah, for a first book, that's not bad. And it's one of my favorite characters.
Oh, nice.
I really lucked out. It could have been anything. Could have been Howard the Duck, which wouldn't have been bad. I would have done it.
So I like you did the cover for that Daredevil issue and like the interior pages. So I know like the actual pages, like you work with the writer kind of tells you what he needs and stuff. But like the cover, do you kind of get like a more free reign? Like it's more like your vision of the cover and stuff, or?
Well, I was new to comics, right? So I don't even know if Jay knew I never had done anything professionally other than pinups. But I had to, because I was new to Marvel. He knew I didn't have a history in Marvel. And I lived in Manhattan. He would make me go to the office like every day or every 2 days to like show him like breakdowns before I started my pages. Which I didn't mind. I was just like, that sounds great, and it worked out because at least I knew I wasn't wasting my time, because that would have sucked if I had to redraw it. Like the whole page. Can you imagine? Oh man, it takes forever. So the same thing for the cover. I gave him like 4 different options. He didn't give me any direction. He didn't say, "Oh, it should be this or that." I mean, and I'd already gone through the whole book, so I knew the tone of it. I knew like all the players, so.
So is it like a summary page essentially? When you is that how you would like describe like how you come up with the cover? It's like
I think so.
What image best sums this up, or what's gonna really like catch their eye on the shelf, on the center rack, as it were.
Yeah, kind of like a movie poster.
Yeah.
You cram as much as you can into that movie poster, so you sell the script or whatever. Yeah, so I gave him 4 different options. He chose one. It happened to be my favorite one, and yeah. I actually begged for the cover. He was gonna give it to Ariel Olivetti because I think that's just standard practice. Like newcomers don't ever get to do their own covers. I don't think. So I really begged him. I was just like, this could be my first and last book, and he took pity on me, so it worked out.
And again, it's kind of like, you're gonna show the public, what they're gonna get.
You gotta shoot your shot, man.
Right? Yeah. I mean, if the cover matches the interiors, I think that's
which sometimes, especially in the 90s, didn't.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, the cover could be awesome, and then the interiors could let you down, or vice versa. That's true.
Oh, and then I see you did work, and again, you're probably gonna say no, you didn't, but you worked on it. You were inker on Mr. T and T-Force number 9. Did you ever get to meet Mr. T?
I did not, but Brian David Marshall was, like I said, he was the manager at Jim Hanley's. So I found out just this year that Mr. T was signing for the very first issue, like when Neil Adams, because Neil Adams did the cover, and so yeah, Mr. T was there.
Oh wow,
yeah. I wish I'd known, but I did number 9.
Sweet guy. If you ever get the chance to meet him, talk about somebody that'll sit down and talk to you if like there's not a lot to do. Like, yeah, I've met him a couple of times. Nice guy.
Yeah, I hear a lot of good things about him. He's very charitable, right?
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I wonder what he's doing these days.
Just hanging out.
Just hanging out. Does he still have the chains or no?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
If you ask him about his chains, that's actually one of his favorite topics. He'll explain it to you.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I grew up watching A-Team and all. Right, and then I saw, which Rocky is it? Where he was Cleverland? It was the first one, right?
That's the was it 2 or was it 2, 3? It was one of them.
I don't know. I would think it's the first one. Anyway, yeah, I saw that in the theaters. Yeah, I grew up.
It's Rocky 3.
Oh, it's Rocky 3. Okay, right.
Well, but yeah, I love the A-Team.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was proud of it. I actually went to a small con, and then I had like my Mr. T and the T-Force number 9 out, and the guy running the show was just like, I think you should hide that. I was like, that's kind of rude. But I only have 2 credits to my name. I was just like, well, then I'm only going to have the 1 book out that I did.
I'll draw people in and it'll be like, hey, do you know Mr. T?
Yeah, I know. Like for me, like I love when I see something. I'm like, I don't recognize this comic. Tell me about it, and I'll grab it.
Oh yeah, I'm not ashamed of my work on Mr. T.
So it's funny that you bring up Magic the Gathering, right? Because you've done some digital art for Fleer, right? For trading card series. How did you get into that?
That was definitely like connections. Like my so I got into Marvel, into the advertising department because one of my best friends worked there. So he got me in. And then I knew a little bit about Photoshop, and he had more work. He's the one that got that project. So, and he was just overwhelmed because he had a full-time job, and he had to like do all these cards. So he was like, you want to make some money? I'm like, sure. And I just figured it out on the fly. It was a little terrifying, but I think I did an okay job. So I think I did like 6 cards. I got to do Galactus and Silver Surfer. Oh, wow. And I got to do a separate Silver Surfer, Doc Ock, Juggernaut. I forget which else. But yeah, it was really fun. I think I did okay. I mean, they're so small, you can't tell. But like, I put so much detail. I mean, the digital file looks great, but like when the print's so small, you can't really appreciate it.
Do you have to do those?
Do you put those out? If you go, I think, are you allowed to put those out for cons? Like blow them up as posters, maybe, or anything like that?
I mean, I've been bringing it at cons. It's just like my table is just like so covered. I have no place to put it because I have my portfolio, I have my prints, and I wasn't even sure if people knew I was like selling them. Like some guy was just like, I, "Are you selling prints?" I was like, "Am I doing something wrong?" So because I had my prints in back of me on a board, but they weren't priced, so I could see it. Right. So like my next con, I actually put the prints on my table, so it was very obvious I was selling. So anyway, and so when I put my prints on the table, there is no space. There wasn't even really space for like my printed comics. But yeah, it's interesting tabling. It's and yeah, I'm gonna do another show coming up in like 3 weeks in Horseheads, so that'll be fun.
Very
But yeah,
cool.
well, you mentioned the Silver Surfer print. I assume from behind you there, Silver Surfer is one of your favorite characters.
Oh yeah, yeah, and if I had gotten Silver Surfer as my first book, it sounds like that would be a great thing, but no, because he's my favorite character. I'm terrified of drawing him. I want to draw a surfer piece, but I'm just like I don't know. It just it really terrifies me because he's my favorite. But Daredevil, I mean, because I lived in Manhattan, I love like drawing like dark, dark themed characters, and he's like perfect. I think it was like the best book I could have landed for sure. I don't know. It was really kind of a miracle.
Oh yeah, I mean it was great, especially that cover. That I thought that was an incredible cover.
I'm glad you like it. I wasn't sure like how it was received. I delivered the pages. I didn't even see it in the stores. I was like so busy in school. I was going to school at the same time. I had my finals while I was doing that book, but I definitely wouldn't have turned it down. I was not sleeping. It was
Oh
crazy.
wow.
Yeah, it was tough. But I gave it my best shot, and they crunched the deadline. I was doing like the first 9 pages, doing a page a day, and then they're like, could you get it all done within a week and a half? The rest of it. I was like, well, I can't say no. So, and I don't know. I don't think the quality of the rest of the pages were as good, but I
Oh no, you're being too hard on yourself.
oh no,
yeah.
no.
Oh, thank you. I did my best. Yeah, it was, but yeah, it was definitely stressful.
Well, I think that was also a weird time too for the Daredevil books. They were kind of like bringing the volume one to an end, and then they were starting
Mm.
over. And so I don't know if yeah, they were just like refiguring deadlines and stuff, and they're like, oh no, we need them to finish this a week earlier than we told them, or
Yeah, they didn't explain it. They were just like, "Can you?" It was a request, but a more demand. I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." Yeah, so you know, filling in for Ariel Olivetti,
mm,
who's a great artist. I don't know. I didn't really care. It didn't really scare me. I just, I didn't even think like, oh, should I like try to fit in with Ariel Olivetti style? I mean, I can't draw any other way than I already draw. So I was like, forget it. I just did what I do. Hopefully he chose well, and it wasn't like so like shocking going from Ariel Olivetti to me and then back to Ariel Olivetti. That I worried about, because like, you know, I don't. It does matter like that you choose artists with like similar styles, and I don't think my style is really that similar. It's not that dissimilar to Ariel Olivetti, um, but it is what it is.
I think it was jarring at all. Like I've had some
Okay.
jarring
yeah,
in a good way and bad way as well too, but I don't think it was very jarring at all.
yeah, because we kind of did the 4 issue was like in a row there, and I know we said no, like I think yours was our favorite cover, so that's
Oh
why I was
wow.
surprised when like Twitter was just like, oh hey, you need to talk to him. I was like, okay, I was like, cool.
I love when Twitter has our same opinion. Doesn't happen often, but when it
Yeah,
does, it's a beautiful thing.
I'm glad when Twitter
I
makes
watched
it
your
out.
video review, and I was so glad you didn't burn me. I was like,
Oh
oh,
no.
I was like, oh no. I'm glad you liked it.
Oh no, trust me, especially that one. Yeah, I mean she's brutally honest. So no,
Oh,
she said she
I,
loved it.
I
Yeah,
try
she
to be
liked it.
tactful, but
I appreciate that.
no, I actually did
That makes
enjoy it though.
oh good.
And yeah, like she said, I mean, it wasn't like a it wasn't between yours and Ariel's style. It wasn't just like it wasn't like oh wow, that's so different. And, again, you have your own style, but it fit in with the rest of the run. So
I wonder why we had different anchors. That would have pulled it together. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
We had like Bud LaRosa only did my issue, and I think it switched back. Maybe that guy, like like maybe Ariel only works with that guy, that inker. I don't know who his inker was. No, no.
yeah,
Did a great job. I like Ariel's stuff. His covers were. I think he did a great job, especially like Ghost Rider cover. Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't get this one started on Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah.
90s Ghost Rider, forget it. We'll be here all day.
Oh please, oh please, I like the original, but no, yeah, no, it's no, it was all good. Like that run there, like where your issues at, like yeah, I think there's some good stuff in there, story, art, and it kind of gets overlooked. I think from time, a lot of the time. So
Just because it's the end of the volume, that's just
maybe,
what
yeah.
happens.
And again, I feel like a lot of books around that time, like 98, especially at Marvel, got overlooked. So
Yeah. That's why I like when we do our little retro reviews.
yes,
Like, I'm very much, well, because I'm a millennial, but like I'm very much 90s books are my thing.
Yeah, that's
like,
cool.
like our whole running joke is, modern comics could never. Like we miss like one shots and like palette cleanser stories. Everything's just got to be like a long 6 to 12 arc, and we're just writing for the trades and not for the love of it and the fun of it.
Yeah, like
I mean,
a huge overarching, right? Yeah, they do it every year, and it's exhausting.
One event into the other. I'm like, what just happened to like summer annual events, man? Like I feel like we're in a perpetual state of an event, and it's just like, I just want to get to good storytelling, man.
Right, like a story arc that completes in like 4 issues.
Yeah,
or
that's not like a mini series.
Right, yeah. Or even just like a one shot. I love like what ifs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they pack so much into like what ifs. At least they did in the 90s. I don't know how they do that. It's like a complete story in one issue. And it's satisfying,
Oh yeah. Yeah. And again, like we were saying, like a lot of modern comics seem like they want to try to make the characters like the MCU movie characters.
Oh, right. I hate that. Oh my god. Like I remember, and I love the movies for what they are, right? But when they had, what was it, Endgame, and then I saw like maybe months later they turned the Infinity Gems into stones. Oh my god. I wasn't mad, but I don't know how you do that. How did the gems become stones? But that's minor compared to like any other things they could have done.
Yeah,
I started believing in separation of church and state because of the X-Men movies. I'm like, no, no leather costumes in the comics, please. Let's not do this.
Right.
Give me my Wolverine colors, please. Thank you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
I guess they're coming back to that now, right?
Yeah.
Being truer to the source, as they should.
Well, when Deadpool and Wolverine in the actual Wolverine costume makes $1 billion, it gives people pause there.
Right.
The fans were probably right the whole time. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought the people that are actually your demographic would know what they're talking about?
Well, that's
sales and marketing. Sorry, boys.
What exactly?
Well, I always said that. I said the studio should all. I mean, it's not a full-time job, maybe, but just like they should consult with like Marvel writers, artists, and be like, hey, what do you think of this script, or what do you think of the look of this, or.
And it's always great when the director, or producer is a fan, like a real fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can tell the difference.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Or have actually read the stuff, the source material. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to Eternals. I just don't
know. Oh yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I almost forget it exists.
It's okay, everybody. I think Marvel wants you to forget too. Disney definitely wants you to forget too.
Yeah, that is.
So you've just kind of had a really interesting like career, because you got to do a video game too, and for Rockstar no less. Like,
oh yeah,
in the chat for Rockstar, but if you know, like they're kind of on a downward spiral a little bit.
Are they? Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, that's
corporate suits. They love to ruin a good thing and put stress on creatives, and it's just such a shame. A lot of gaming studios are unfortunately like being merged into one and shutting down. And
Oh yeah. Huh. Yeah, my niece is
I
in
don't
that
envy
industry.
AAA game publishers at all in this
Well,
environment right now. But
that's
that's pretty
terrible.
cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that gig if it wasn't for Marvel. And then
Oh,
yeah, and then yeah, I got it because I was a Marvel artist. So that was I think that was probably one of my I don't know. It's not that I loved it more than Daredevil, but I had a longer deadline so I could, put more care into it. And they didn't, it wasn't even a deadline. They were like, we want 12 characters, and then I just developed each maybe like two or three at a time, and it was such a long process. And yeah,
did they give you like the character bios, or did they just ask you to like come up with like an archetype? They give you an
no, it's just a
archetype.
bio. Yeah, they
Oh,
just gave me a bio, and they were like, well,
have at it.
have at it. Yeah, no. I mean, they were very descriptive, where they're from, what their personality type was. It was a lot to go by, and I nailed it most of the time. There's only like one character that I just kept going back and forth, and it was the boss. And yeah, which is makes sense because it's important, the reveal. So that I struggled with it a little bit, but that was yeah. And I got paid. What I got paid for that was more than I would have got paid for about 3 comics, 3 full.
We talk about that all the
comics.
time. It feels like the rates, like much like anybody who works, it feels like the rates definitely have stagnated and haven't been adjusted for cost of living. And that's why you see so many creators. Thank goodness that you guys, it's easier for you guys to have like creator owned stuff now. But also you see so many creators like have 5, 6, 7 books out at the same time because it's kind of a necessity almost.
And it's even like the biggest names on like the top tier books. They have their creator owned stuff and
Erica's like when we're talking, like when we try to get interviews, they're like, I'm on my 6th book. I'll get back to you.
They don't have time.
I've heard from multiple writers where they're like, yeah, my sweet spot's around 3 or 4 books a month. Yeah, I'm doing like 6, 7.
Yeah. I mean, I love the industry, but because there are so many creatives, they don't need to they don't need to be competitive with other industries like the game industry.
Yeah.
They know we would die. Any of us would die to like be on a book. And if we don't want it, someone else will step in line. So I don't think anyone ever turns down work. Like when I was talking to Jay Gardner about my pager, he's like, "So how much you want?" I said, "Well, I'd like X amount," and he said, "Oh, you can't have that." He's like, not even like Terry Dodson makes that. And so he showed me the sheet of like rates, and he showed me Terry Dodson's rate. He's like, "That's the highest I could pay you." And I said, "Well, if that's good enough for Terry Dodson, I'll take it." But it was not enough. And that was actually the deciding factor for not continuing with comics. Because I got the check, I looked at the check, and I was just like, I did the math. I'm like, so I'm making like McDonald's money with no benefits. I'm like, I don't know, because I'd already had like a staff job at Marvel, which paid about the same as I would have got like doing a book, right? But I was getting benefits. So I was like, I can't, because I always wanted to have a family. So, I started a family around like, a couple of years after that, or the very next year.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah, it's fate, I mean, I would have done it. I would have just been a starving artist like everybody else. I would have struggled, but then, life had other plans. So
what did you go to school for?
I went to school for illustration at FIT, like in the 92 to 94, and then I went back to school for graphic design at SVA.
Okay.
Yeah, because I got
because I
introduced.
saw you have some advertisement work, so I was just like, because I find like a lot of
Right.
creator comic book creators, like especially specifically from the 90s and 2000s, like after they kind of transitioned away from comics, they went into like advertisement marketing. And I would
Right.
just assume that that's just due to the background, that because a lot of them went to like obviously went to like college in like New York, and that's kind of how they stumbled into comics. Like our good friend DG Chichester, that's kind of his story too. After
Oh,
he
cool.
transitioned, he went into advertisement
Huh.
and stuff like that. And there's a couple of other people I could probably think of that have done the same. So I mean, you get your kind of creative juices at the same time. It's just kind of in a different flavor.
Yeah, I mean, I worked as a graphic designer for decades, and it's creative. Is it as satisfying as working at Marvel? Definitely not. But if you get to be creative and make a living, I mean, you're lucky.
You're in the top 2% at that point.
Right. Whether you're Marvel or not, and I don't know, like, like to your point, if you're going to make a living doing comics, you have to work on multiple books, and I'm not that fast. I am a page a day guy. I would starve. I would have to have like 4 roommates, never get married. Yeah, there'd be nothing. I mean, comics would be my life, but I think that's probably a lot of people's stories. Then they'll do that for like 10, 15 years until they get tired of it, and someone else will take their place.
Yeah, it seems like the average anymore is like someone's only on a book maybe for like, I mean, writers, artists are only on a book for like maybe 1 to 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't get like really long runs anymore. That's what we said. It's like, is
it's
that
such
like
a difference
on the company's end, or is it like because the pay?
Well, that, like I said, this goes directly to the point of specifically the big two, being more corporate led and pushing the creatives out. They lost je ne sais quoi by having creatives actually be like the actual, executive editor in chief, and like like sure, there's some corporate oversight you need with creatives, but sometimes you just got to step out of the way and let creatives be creatives and do their thing. You can't always be sales and marketing and legal going, hey man, can't do that. Gotta
Right.
give creatives need some leeway.
Yeah.
And that's why you kind of like I said specifically that 98 to like 2002 era of Marvel, when they were really just trying to do something to stay afloat, and where they were making all those changes, like, okay, these guys belong here, and instead of just like, it didn't feel organic. It's very much an inorganic move, and they recovered a little bit, but now with the Disney thing, it's kind of back to more of the same, but like a little bit better. I will say it's a little bit better than the first time around, when Marvel got bought out.
Yeah, I mean, I love Marvel. I want
I've
them to
always
be
wanted the best
around.
for them, and companies have to struggle sometimes to figure out who they are, and get back to the soul of who they want to be. And I still feel like Marvel's still kind of struggling with that, and they're trying to figure out, but that's a good thing sometimes. It's growing pains, and it's difficult as a fan to watch to watch your fave struggle, but
I know. I love seeing that, like John Romita Jr. is back doing,
yes.
Yeah, I mean,
he's been doing what, like I swear he does a Spider-Man run at least once a decade.
Does he?
Since
Yeah.
it
What
seems
does
like, yeah, I
what
mean,
does he do in between though?
I don't know. I mean,
Any and everything, actually.
I was gonna say,
sometimes nothing, which he can rest on his laurels
Is he
sometimes,
rich?
which is fine.
sometimes he does other books. I mean, I don't know.
Oh.
Is he doing con appearances or anything? Or
I don't know.
but I swear at least once a decade since what, like the 80s maybe. I swear he does a Spider-Man run at least once a decade.
I think it's in his contract.
Is it? Yeah, well, I mean, he's John Romita Sr.'s son.
Oh yeah, his royalty. So yeah.
Yeah, I met John Romita Sr. That's one of the only people I really met when I worked there. But I was just going to his office to have him sign invoices. It wasn't a long conversation, but he seemed like a nice guy.
So
yeah, that bullpen atmosphere. I really feel like that's what modern comics is kind of missing. Like when DC shut down and they said they were going to be basically doing their work out of WeWork Studios, my heart broke. Like the iconic New York destination gone. I'm just like they're in the hellscape that is LA now, and it's just like, oh, it's so different. It's so different.
Yeah, that sucks. I love that office, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
I went to the DC offices and they were beautiful. I mean, they're like, yeah, their reception room was. It looked like you were in Disney. Like they had like Superman busting out of the wall, and they had anyway. It was well done. And when you go into Marvel, you don't even know you're there. You could be any office, but it was still cool, right? Because it's historic, you know.
Yeah.
They were in those offices for so long, so it was just nice to you go into the office, and then the bullpen is right there, like literally when you walk into the office, you walk into the bullpen, and then the editor's offices wrap around like the outside, and then they have a
Like how you'd imagine a new, like if you think of like the classic newsroom, that's kind of like the setup. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, advertising was on the lower floor, so I wasn't always up there, but but it was definitely a great experience. There were people skateboarding around the offices. There was no dress code.
Wow.
It was.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like sometimes you got to give kids a little leeway. I mean, everybody kind of makes fun of the upstart, the tech upstart, like, atmosphere where, they're drinking and they're skating and they got to climb and walk. Sometimes you just need that. You do.
Yeah. If you're creative.
Yeah. So, yeah. So what do you do now? Professionally, when you're not like doing your freelancing stuff? Like what's your main, you still do graphic design or?
So I left graphic design. I work for Bausch and Lomb in regulatory. Yeah. If I explained it to you, you would fall asleep.
Oh, no. I'm the Chandler friend too. Nobody knows what I do either. I work at Gentech.
Anytime someone asks me what I do, I just kind of like sidestep the question. But I just say I work at Bausch and Lomb in regulatory, and any more than that, you probably wouldn't understand. But it is like package design adjacent. So
okay.
So that I don't get involved in the design, but what I do is involved with the content on packaging. So I still get to work, hand in hand with designers. I can't tell them what to do, but at least the output is the same. Yeah, I went from graphic design into package design for like decades. So I was a design manager, but then I went from that to regulatory. So yeah.
Is that so you're currently freelancing for Blue Shack Comics?
Oh yeah. So the story there is, I was producing like my Daredevil prints. I don't know if you saw them. Anyway, so I produced like 3 Daredevil prints for cons, and also for trade show graphics. And so I went on Fiverr to look for an inker, like digital inker, and then I hooked up with this inker, and she was like, she kind of wanted to sidestep Fiverr so I could like pay her directly. so she was like, could you do you have Twitter? Do you have X? And it's like, no. So I opened up an account, and then she kind of ditched the project. She was like, she got like a call from Image. I was happy for her. I was like, yeah, forget it. Go do your thing on Image. Anyway, so then I had my account, and I was like, wow, I discovered like there's so many comic creatives there, and I hooked up with, I looked up this guy. I liked his work. His name is Dimitri Sokovas, and anyway, so I reached out to him. I said, you haven't have any advice how to like break in, because I haven't been in the industry in like 26 years, and he didn't have any advice to give. He was like, I don't know. If you figure it out, let me know. I was like, okay, it's all good. But he kept me in mind, and he worked on Vermin for Blue Shack, and that was his first book. And so I backed it, and then I posted on Twitter. I said, oh, I backed Vermin, and then he in the chat or whatever in the comments, he mentioned me to his publisher, and so he referred me, and that's how I got hooked up with Blue Shack. So, and I've never had like a fellow artist refer me to like, to their editor or publisher, because you're basically, your competition, right?
Yeah.
But that was really nice of him. So he's a super cool guy. So I did 2 covers
nice
already.
indie atmosphere, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they'll be friendly, and I never ever hit up another artist for like a contact. I know what it's like. But yeah, he connected me with Blue Shack, and yeah, I just completed my second cover with them. They're gonna give me another one, so I'm probably gonna do like 4 or 5 covers a year.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
Yeah, so it's and I have a day job, so it's less stressful that way.
Oh yeah.
Oh, trust us. We know.
Right. But yeah, super happy with Blue Shack, and they have connections with Jim Shooter, so it looks like big things are going to happen for them in the future, like near future. Like the publisher Zach Lynch, he worked at Defiant with Jim Shooter. He's close with him, and he just reconnected with some of the other people he knew at Defiant. So it looks like they're going to be working together, and maybe Blue Shack is the platform. Who knows? But I hope I get a cover.
Yeah, we did too.
Whatever it is, I'm there. If I don't, it's all good. I'm happy with the titles I've been working on.
So what was it? What was the difference of like? So you just kept your same style, but like, was it like a different expectation of how they wanted you to deliver the deliverables or anything like that? Or are they a little more old school?
Yeah, I mean, luckily, that's what his vision is. Like, as if there's a difference between what their vision is and anyone else's. Like, he wants it old school. He actually prefers like pencils on board. He likes like traditional ink. And he actually, like, for my first cover, it was homage to Gil Kane's Jungle Action number 14. So he's a collector. Like, he has a great collection. So yeah, and he respects history. So, and even my second cover, it wasn't an homage, but he gave me like some reference from like Savage Conan.
Yeah.
So he didn't say to match this layout. It was just like, this is kind of what I'm going for. So he's very into like Bronze Age comics, and that's cool because I love silver and bronze. I could just like stay in that realm forever. Because like my first comic, there was a dinosaur. The second comic, I have like this huge sea monster eel. I was like, this is kind of cool,
Very Call of Cthulhu.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I miss those old days, and you don't see that in comics much anymore. It's usually just very dynamic, of course, but comics have changed. So.
Yeah, I don't know if the money's there or not, but I was going to say, if you put out like The Call, I mean, I think that there's always people are always putting out Kickstarter comics and stuff. I think people are always looking for.
He's got a whole day job though. Like,
yeah, I know.
Kickstarter's like 2 jobs.
Well, that's why. That's why I didn't suggest he start his own book. That's why I'm like, oh, maybe help someone on their book.
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, someone else hit me up on Twitter to do another cover for him.
Oh, nice.
And I got it. Someone else hit me up actually early this morning. So It looks like I'll be doing, and they're all small publishers, and I'm fine with that. Marvel never got back to me, so whatever.
Carve your own niche.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they did, it would just be, like I said, it's just pressure. If I was working for Marvel, it would be due the next day. Just like, and forget it. I don't know. I'd have to like start at 5 and then like not sleep until the next day. It would be, I would do it, but yeah.
And hey, by the way, Sam Wilson has to look like Anthony Mackie. So can you?
Oh God.
Yeah.
All of
Don't
that.
forget that little pencil mustache, please.
Oh no. Yeah.
And a little crooked smile. You got to get the smile in there. Otherwise, it's not Anthony Mackie.
Right.
That would be the only change I'm okay with. I'll just put that out there.
It's funny that like you would never make Matt Murdock look like, what's the actor's name?
Charlie Cox.
Yeah. Nobody does that.
I'm okay with Ben Affleck. Not gonna lie. I know I might be alone on the branch, but I like the Daredevil movie. I do. But I'm a millennial. What do I know?
I'm gonna watch it again. It's to me.
Don't forget the soundtrack. You got to listen to the soundtrack first. That's gonna get you hyped.
Good
and then you watch the movie.
Yeah. I love that Elektra is Daredevil.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, we've been badgering poor Erica Shaw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I hope they do that.
Great job with it.
Yeah, I know they'll never do that in the series, or would they?
Mm,
Because they have Elektra.
yeah, yeah.
I don't. It would be too complicated to
I want
transition.
an animated series, kind
Oh
of
yeah,
circa like Spawn. I
definitely.
need a little bit of adult spiciness for Electra. I don't want it to be bland and boring.
Yeah, you could do so much with animation, and like DC kills with their animated movies. They're so good. Yeah, way better than Marvel.
I mean, that their Harley Quinn TV show is about to start. What, its 5th season, I think.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I like DC, but I don't buy any DC, but yeah.
Hey, DC, he's available. Wink, wink. So I was gonna say, if you got a chance to draw for DC, well, is there any character you'd really love to? Yeah.
I kind of one note. I would like to draw Nightwing.
Nice.
Oh my God! No,
which is
don't give him the satisfaction.
which is the DC Daredevil.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it? Oh, cool.
yeah.
Oh, cool. There
Oh
you are.
no! Oh yeah, I'd love to see Nightwing, and yeah, just from when I saw in your Daredevil issue. Yeah, come on.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would do that. In a
So let's
heartbeat.
manifest this chat.
Yes, we say sometimes it seems like people listen to us because all stuff.
Like I was begging. I think Phil and I were begging for Zatanna for like at least 2 years, and like out of nowhere, just this random, it's fantastic actually. By the way, Black Label Zatanna book comes out, and we were just like, did we do this?
Oh yeah, yeah. You never know.
Yeah,
Just
bring
like-
it down the house. If you want to start buying DC, I think that's where you should start. That's a really good one too.
Yeah.
And what's
no.
that Catwoman one? Lonely City? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would. Those are 2 good Black Label books that are good investments. I
Yeah,
think.
the Black Labels are good because those are all like mini series. They're not there. They don't have like.
And they're not, and you don't have to worry about continuity or anything like that. It's just
Okay.
good, solid storytelling, beautiful art.
Yeah. Oh no, DC's art is phenomenal. I just don't know about the writing.
Depends on the character. It's been rough the last 5 years, but they're kind of getting back to it with Absolute. Actually, I'm kind of curious to see.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I
that
am
I'm
the hardest
curious
on
about.
DC.
That looks cool. And yeah, I was just at my local shop, and they were like, "Yeah, that's selling really well." So
Yeah,
I haven't picked it up, but yeah, I'm kind of like, I don't buy new books anymore. I go in and I put like something that's Silver Age on like a layaway, and I go in and I pay my bills. I always look at the wall, and there's so many great artists right now. It's just like incredible. I forget the name of the artist on Incredible Hulk, but he's really killing it. He's and it's like it's a classic style too. It's almost like Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah, well, that kind of works because they're kind of doing like a supernatural monster kind.
Yeah, perfect. It's incredible. Yeah, and like I see like these Italian artists on Twitter. Oh my god, they make me want to quit.
That's the problem. It's so
why?
great because the talent pool has expanded so much, but now like guys like you have so much competition that because anyone can just thanks to technology, for anywhere in the world, be like, oh hey DC, I'm over here,
Right. Yeah. I mean, if I had a comic company, I would just hire all the artists I see on Twitter in Italy. It's like phenomenal. Yeah. But at least, it has something to strive for.
And just for our listeners that might not be watching on the YouTube, could you tell us all the books in the background that you have there that you put out so nicely for us on display?
Oh, sure. I have FF 49 and 50. I have Silver Surfer #1, which started my addiction, and and Silver Surfer #4, of course.
Nice.
Guardians first appearance in Marvel superheroes. I think it's 18. Secret Wars #8.
Oh, I see now. Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah,
so we will let you put your dining room back the way it belongs. We really appreciate this conversation. You're such a great guest. We wish you all the best. And anytime you want to come back, if you have a new project, just let us know. We would love to talk to you and discuss it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. No, this was so much fun. Great way to kick off the weekend.
Oh, well, thank you. Like I always say, I'm glad when creative people share their time with us. Plus, if they have a day job, we completely understand that. So yes, thank you for sharing this time with us.
Oh, not at all. And I'm glad you liked the book.
Oh yes,
And
definitely.
is there anything you want to pitch before you go?
Yes.
Any cons or anything you have coming up, or
Yeah,
Substack
I'll
maybe
be
you
at,
have, or anything like that?
yeah, I'm not an entrepreneur, but I'll be at Twin Tiers Comic Con in Horseheads, New York, November 9th and 10th.
Okay, cool.
So
We'll
that's
put that in the
really
show notes.
far.
Yeah.
But it should be fun.
And if anyone wants to contact you, I mean, I saw you're on Twitter. Is there anywhere else or?
Yeah, my Twitter account is Acostar 72, ACOSTAR 72. Yeah, and yeah, no, I don't really promote myself, but I do appreciate it. But it's I'm just happy to be back doing like anything in comics. It's this is really what I love to do. So, and it feeds my soul. That's important.
Good.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks for having me again.
Thank you, sir.
All right. I appreciate it.
All right. So yes.
Here comes everybody.
Yes. Great interview. Yes. So, and again, if anyone's looking for someone to do covers or whatever, interiors, there's your man. Yeah. Then I'll put his information in the show notes, like his Twitter and stuff, because that's, like I said, that's where I came across him, because someone on Twitter was just saw our Daredevil episode and they're just like, you have to talk to him. I'm like, okay.
I hope that was the person that was watching us at least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if they weren't watching, was it Randall or I think, but yeah, if he wasn't watching now, I'm sure once this hits,
you should ping him like, hey, we took your suggestion.
we did it already. Get off our backs.
See the links we go through for our fans.
That's right. We do it only for the fans.
Only fans, you say?
The Capes and Lunatics, your only fans. All right, so but hey, let's promote ourselves,
because that's what Phil does best.
I learned from the master. Well, you
learned from Rob Southgate.
You and Master Doom taught me. So yes, kids. Well, if you want to, suggest the interviews for us, or if you're a creator and you'd like to chat, please reach out. CapesandLunatics at gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And if you want to see it written down, check out this video on YouTube. It's on the screen. And again, you can find all of our episodes, social media, merchandise. We have a bunch of merch. Recently updated merch too. So if you want to help support us that way, we have a random Cash App link. So if you just want to rain money on us and be very nice. And we have a Patreon. What?
Make it rain.
Oh. I was trying to be professional.
He's a little rusty.
I was trying to make it professional. Okay, yeah, make it rain on us. Make it rain. Nothing says professional like Rob.
I've been professional for 59 minutes.
Oh, I'm sure
you're my best behavior, Phil.
And I can't see you on camera. I'm sure you have been professional with no pants on the entire time.
Fight the tyranny of pants, first of all.
That's right.
Keep Charlie Esther's memory alive. Fight the tyranny of pants.
Honor Charlie Esther's memory and don't wear pants as much as you can. All right. And of course, yes, we have a Patreon where you get exclusive content, uncensored content every month. So you can,
what are we doing this month?
I don't know. We
got to spin the wheel on that one.
Yes. But again, it could be anything. We talk anything and everything. Again, we talk mostly we talk a lot of comics here, but Patreon could be pretty much anything. So, and if you are a Patreon subscriber, you do get to suggest and ask topics for us to discuss. So you can help program for us. So subscribe there at patreon.com/CapesandLunatics and find everything at tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. And if you want to talk to Lilith, too bad, because she is like the old internet granny. Get off her digital lawn.
Yeah, man. Take a social media detox. It feels, Maybe not you guys. But definitely put us on Spotify or whatever you're listening to this podcast on, and
I was
go
gonna
outside and
say,
touch some grass.
yeah, go take a walk while you listen to this. Come on.
It's fall time, Get yourself a pumpkin spice. Watch the leaves if you're lucky enough to live where the leaves turn.
Exactly.
I can't relate. Palm trees just die.
Oh my. I thought they just stayed up year round. Okay. Oh, they
No,
die.
they get brown and they
Okay.
kind of wilt, and then they get green again in the spring.
Okay.
Because they actually don't belong here, the palm trees that we have. So,
Oh wow. All right, kids. Thank you for joining us. On that upbeat note, yes, thank you for joining us. So yes, come back next time. We'll have another interview. But until then, we have been your Capes.
Applesauce Lunatics. Although it's just singular now that Charlie's gone.
We're all a little lunatic sometimes. And again, if you're a creator and you want to reach out, again, no one's too big, no one's too small. Reach out and want to promote, you just want to chat about the industry. But a
little self-promotion.
Exactly. I'll say, oh yeah, it's the best self-promotion. All right. Thank you, Richie Acosta.